What is up, National Pokemon Association fans and all the like? My name is the Juan, and I am your host for this week and every week's weekly recap. And today, I am indeed joined by my good friend, the only amazing one for my Chi, the amazing Chi.
2 in a row, baby. Hi, guys.
So, first and foremost, let's get everything out of the way. If you have not checked any of the battles, please do so if you want to. There's a link down below in the description section where there is a playlist for your enjoyment. But if that means if you are here, that means either A, you watch all the battles and you want to hear what our comments are, or B, you were just too busy for the week and you just want to hear our lovely voices say what actually happened.
So, yeah, good idea.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I suppose we just quickly obviously mention straight off the bat that, of course, naturally there are a couple of buys at the moment. I'm not sure I think this might be the last of the buys, apart from obviously the big massive bulk that's going to happen in week 13 or whatever.
Yep. So
yeah, LCP, Leicester City Pokemon Club, T-Train, and Chicago Cub Chews and Elliot took the week off.
Yep.
They did do a little trade which amused me in the background. Sort of a trade. T-Train dropped Crustle and Elliot picked up Crustle, which of course, you know, I am very, very attuned with Crustle.
We're not going to talk about Crustle. No, we're not going to talk about Crustle.
So that was kind of cool.
Is an okay mon in certain situations, but I have my personality with Crustle, you have your personality with Crustle. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, it's in my team name, but yes.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
That brings you up to date on their news anyway.
Yeah, basically. Any other transfers this week, by the way?
Yeah, in that process, I think T-Train picked up Cresselia, which is no. But yeah, that's the only change for the Cubchews. I forgot what they dropped. I think it was Cricketoo. They picked up Crustle for Cricketoo, so that's an upgrade in my opinion. But somewhere along the line during this week, T-Train picked up Cresselia, so.
Yeah, no. He's not allowed.
No, when you add that to his team, that's not nice.
That's not nice. No, for any coaches that still have to battle him, I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. This is going to be a rough time for you. But anywho,
oh, actually, yeah. Speaking of Cresselia, the guy he swapped it with is up first technically.
Oh, okay.
Because it was on the Donphan's team.
Yes. Oh, that is right. Why did he give it to... Oh my god! Oh my god, why did he give it to him? Okay, we're not going to go into that, but yeah, it is the Miami Donphans versus the Pittsburgh Peaches. As you're going to see on your screen currently, hopefully, because she's amazing with the graphics.
Thank you.
There was no battle.
Yes. Well, no, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. It looked like something happened with just certain circumstances that the Donphans did take the forfeit loss to the Pichus, and resulting in a 3-0 forfeit victory to Numnexus.
Yep.
Do you actually want to say anything about like how these teams are doing for the season and such like that, so we're gonna fill in the space?
In fairness, like neither of them are doing particularly well at this point, so it wasn't probably the most crucial of matches in that respect.
Okay.
Probably more. I think it would have been useful just more for pride at this point, just to try and get one of their seasons back on track as such. Because I think both of them were on 2 wins and the rest losses. I'm not certain on the exact differential, the exact ratios right now. But yeah, it would have been useful for one of them to obviously pick up a win, sort of legitimately as such. You know what I mean? Legitimate is not the right word, but you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean.
Like pick up an actual proper win. Just give themselves a morale boost, but you know, 3 out of 3. It doesn't really affect any of the races as such. So
I mean, we're in week 8, and we have like I think 9, 10, 11, 12, 5 more weeks left. Anything can happen in those 5 weeks that can just flip flop everything.
True.
Honestly,
as they stand though, these guys are in the runnings for sort of the playoffs. So
yeah, as they're standing, but yeah, you still never know, and it's a shame that didn't happen. But we wish them we miss them honestly, and we wish for them the best for next week.
Indeed.
So we're going to actually lead off then with the Minnesota Big Volts, coached by your one and only A-Drive, versus the United Kingler, coached by Professor Willow. The Big Volts Infernape, Crocodile, Shaman, Gudra, and Necrozma. And the Kinglers brought Chatot, Alomomola, Diggersby, Latios, Mega Gyarados, and Torkoal. And yes, you are seeing on your screen, and yes, you're seeing on your screen correctly, Vikavolt did get a 6-0 sweep.
Yeah, the only two things to get kills in this match were Vikavolt and Chatot.
I am so happy for Chatot. I am so happy that literally when Willow had the momentum in his side, he literally said he did not have switch-ins for a boom burst, and he did not have switch-ins for a boom burst, and it was such a beautiful thing to see. Okay.
Yeah. So in a match that also contained, Infernape, Crocodile, Latios, Diggersby, Megados, Chatot, and Vikavolt. They're the only two things that got kills. Basically, it just got to a point where Vikavolt was in against Alomomola, I think. Yeah. And Vikavolt could click agility, and at that point it won.
To be frank, yeah, actually no, it did one because Willow was expecting a Thunderbolt from the. I'm sorry to say my mic. On the Alomomola, that's why he went for the MIRACLE because he had his Assault Vest, so he was guaranteed to at least take one.
It was Assault Vest. Dan thought he was the Electric Berry, but I think the Electric Berry still pop with Z moves.
With Z moves, I actually don't know.
I'm not sure if berries are ignored by Z moves. I'm not sure. I imagine they're not, but because I didn't. I didn't notice a berry pop after the Z move happened, but
I can only imagine that through a Gigavolt Havoc, you just see on the notification bar on the bottom. Oh, your opponent ate the Wukong berry.
Yeah, precisely. That's what I mean.
But, it was honestly going so well for Willow in the beginning. He had so much pressure and momentum in the beginning, and then just that one turn sealed the deal. Yeah,
frankly, he just needed to get Vikavolt in on Alomomola, and with everything being at the range they were at, they were all going to die once he got the agility up.
To be fair, also, Will did say that I'm pretty sure that if he instead switched out, instead of going for the Miracle, he switched out into the Diggersby, he still would have picked up the KO with the Quick Attack because he was choice banded. So there was just a couple of things that Willow could have done differently, but
Diggersby was choice banded.
I think it was choice. He said banded. He did say banded on Diggersby.
I thought he was scarfed, but
I honestly thought he was scarfed as well. But then he said Diggersby is banded. He's not going to outspeed.
I vaguely remember vaguely remember seeing the sort of post-match chat between Dan and Willow in the NPA server. I could have sworn he said he had Diggersby to outspeed Infernape. He only expected.
In that case,
I think he was scarfed, but he expected to outspeed Infernape, and Dan was worried about not outspeeding Diggersby still after one agility.
That's why he went for the second one.
That's why he went for the second one.
Makes sense, yeah.
That's why he went for the second one. But as it turned out, because Diggersby was only had enough speed for Infernape, Vikavolt actually did still outspeed it after just one agility. But Dan didn't know that.
Shit, okay.
But Dan didn't know that, and it didn't matter anyway, because even if he switched into Diggersby then, he would have got up to +4. But if he switched into Diggersby the first time, he would have just outsped it anyway, so it didn't make a difference.
Yeah, but
Dan wouldn't have been scared out. He said he was just going to click Energy Ball anyway if he switched in Diggersby after the first agility.
Personally, I don't have much to say about this battle on either side. I think they both played well.
That was literally the thing I wrote down. Honestly, I have nothing to say about anything in between those two things of Specs Chatot and Vikavolt sweeping. They're the only two things I had to mention.
Yep, that is a 100% agree. Like, I have very minimal notes for this.
The only thing I will say is a little bit like the match was actually a lot tighter than the 4-0 suggests.
No, yes, it definitely was.
It was one of those matches where it essentially just had a trigger and it was pulled and it got a 6-0 sweep and ended up being a 4-0 as a result.
Yep, definitely, because like I was saying, Willow had the momentum from the beginning, and that one turn was, like you said, that trigger moment where everything just flip-flopped and that was the game.
Yeah.
It was a lot more. I was like, the score. Don't watch the battle. Don't look at the score. Enjoy it. Enjoy the battle on either perspective because it was a very intense match afterwards. But I am going to transition. Are we good with this team?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say. So.
Yep. So we're going to go into the Seattle Star Raptors, coached by Gerhard, versus the Philadelphia Braviaries, coached by Chris Cobain. The Seattle Raptors brought Electrode, Alola, MARvORL, Mega Sharpedo, Mamoswine, Mantine, and Sylveon, while the Braviaries brought Primarina, Empoleon, Mega Scizor, Zygarde, Azelf, and Thundurus Therian. Unfortunately, I was really hoping this match would be a little bit later on the list because I was not able to get to this match for the fact that my ceiling was literally falling down on me.
Oh, that's helpful.
So,
that is always helpful. Oh, and,
if you check out my Twitter, you'll see a picture example of that shenanigans. But yeah,
speaking of things coming down on you that you weren't expecting to happen, this match actually did all hinge on one piece of a 4.7% chance.
Really?
Yes. With the spreads that they had, basically Zygarde had a 4.7% chance to 2-hit KO the Mantine. Now,
and he got the 4.7%.
There was like 3 or 4 cycles of I can't remember what the process was. It was, I think, Thunderous T. Marowak switched into Thunderous T, which took the HP flying, and then Zygarde switched into Marowak, and then Mantine switched into Zygarde. Mantine roosted up as Thunderous T came back in, and so on and so forth. And then eventually it got to a point where Zygarde did just over 50% of the Mantine, and Gear was just like, oh, hang on, that shouldn't have done that much. And basically, and then he just got the second high roll the turn after. So it was a 4.7% chance to 2-hit KO, and with Mantine gone, he had nothing for Primarina, nothing for Empoleon, nothing to take on either of those things, and it basically that just disintegrated Gear's team. Without the Mantine to wall that Zygarde, or the Primarina, or the Empoleon.
I'm very happy that a threat was Primarina. I really am happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, the Primarina was more a threat because Electrode had an unfortunate encounter with a move that he didn't want to switch into. I can't remember what it was now. But, as well, so with the Electrode down, he had actually nothing to kill the Primarina. With the Mantine down, he had nothing to wall the Primarina.
Fair. Okay.
As such. I mean, Sylveon could take it, but it couldn't kill the Primarina back, which was the problem. And same with the Empoleon. So, without either of those, it just ended up sort of with Mantine gone, Chris could just sort of wear down Gear's team into a 5-0, and that's what happened. So,
all right.
Yeah, not really much else I can say here.
You want to say about either team, though?
There's nothing much I can say here, other than maybe on the last turn, Gear probably should have clicked Earthquake rather than the Icicle Crash, because just when you're 5-0 down, when you're basically about to lose 5-0 or 4-0, just kill what's in front of you. He should have just killed, I think it was the Empoleon, or whatever it was in front of him had enough health to be killed by Earthquake, and he predicted something to switch in, and he clicked Icicle Crash instead. He should have just clicked Earthquake. That's the only thing I could say, because then it would have been a 4-0. He would have killed what was in front of him, and it would have been a 4-0, not a 5-0. A differential might matter in this playoff race.
Okay.
So, because obviously Gear's up there in that playoff race, so that could have mattered. That could matter come season end. And I really hope it doesn't, but...
Okay.
That's the only thing I would say. But other than that, it was sort of a really good clean match, and then obviously the 4.7% chance happened. So...
Yeah, this was a very, very big week for rolls and random things happening, I'd say. It's a very big week for that. But we're going to move on now into the Tampa Bay Lux Rays, coached by the Exception, versus the Waterloo Sawsbugs, coached by Old School Sin. Oh, wait a minute. We've been mentioning 4-0 for the Bicabolts and the Kinglers, 5-0 for the Braviaries and the Staraptors, and now a 1-0 victory for the Sawsbugs.
Yes, indeed.
Rundown of the team real quick before we go in. Araquanid, Porygon Z, Darmanitan, Diancie, Latias, and Mega Absol for the Lux Rays. And for the Sawsbugs, Magnezone, Hydreigon, Mimikyu, when the she says Mimikyu, Tapu Bulu, Chandelure, and Milotic. Yeah, all right.
I'm not going to lie.
Take it away, Chi, really quick.
The team sheet here did actually make me laugh because so many things are misspelled for some reason. It was actually... I actually corrected the first one. It was actually, I only said Araquid. And there's also Manjazone, which is fantastic.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Okay.
Yeah, it's one of those things where your brain automatically corrects it. But Manjazone. But weirdly enough, this is actually the, sort of the longest amount of notes I have for the entire week is this match. But I'm not watching SESvPHI for once.
Okay.
You get a bit of a relief here.
Yeah, true.
One thing amused me sort of straight from the off because the Sin led with MINvUK and Exception led with Latias.
Yes.
And I wrote these two quotes the wrong way around, but he sort of says, I don't really have the best answers with MINvUK, and then about 10 seconds later he says, I don't know why he led with MINvUK. Maybe that's your answer. Maybe that's your answer, because you don't have the best answers for it.
No, yeah, MINvUK caused a lot of pressure, and Sin was very, very aware of that in the beginning of the game. He was able to set up with an SD, and when he switched on with a Diancie, and basically 2 KO right off the bat, securing that he doesn't get rocks on his side of the field, and taking out a potential wall that the Lux Rays brought.
Yeah, one thing I was just confused with. Actually, I sort of went to answer that question myself with saying when he said he didn't have the best answers with MINvUK, I just wanted to check to see if there was something he was overlooking in terms of team building here, because that MINvUK really just ran through the team that he brought a little bit. And Exception has Ferrothorn.
I see.
Which I'm really confused by, because not only does it wall MINvUK a lot better than anything on his team does, it walls Tapu Bulu.
Yes, Tapu Bulu is
a lot better.
Tapu Bulu is a really, really big threat, and you should really prepare for that a little bit just better. Honestly, like I don't see Darmanitan, even though yes, it is not super effective on either side. It's still a Tapu Bulu, and Darmanitan's not the bulkiest of things. Latias doesn't want to do anything. Mega Absol, Araquanid, nope. Yeah, just the team that you brought. I definitely, if any one of those mons could have been swapped out with the Ferrothorn and done really well for both MINvUK and Tapu Bulu.
Yeah, that Ferrothorn would have been pretty handy, I feel like, in this match anyway. And I also sort of made a note of the fact that Sin only really has Chandelure for Ferrothorn more to the point as well. So there wasn't really a lot on his team that could break it outside of like a banded, maybe super powered Tapu Bulu.
That's really going most of the walls.
Or Specs Focus Blast Hydreigon. I think it gets Focus Blast, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah, basically
outside Flamethrower.
Outside of of course he has Flamethrower. But yeah, outside of that, like there wasn't really a lot really going to be breaking Ferrothorn in this game. But
yeah.
Exception seemed a little bit surprised by Flame Orb Milotic. There was a bit of sort of nervous laughing after he popped the Flame Orb. So that kind of, even though Flame Orb Milotic is actually kind of a standard thing these days because obviously the burn nerf. But
yeah, the burn nerf, and also in a lot of singles format, Marvel Scale is preferred over competitive because of the chances of Intimidate is a lot less compared to VZC.
Yeah, he was surprised. He was surprised he wasn't competitive for some reason. He might have an Intimidate user that he didn't bring, but I think he does. But I'm not saying that. He was surprised he didn't bring competitive, but yeah. Flame Orb Marvel Scale is actually very much standard these days. I need to ask the question of what was Magnazone's item, because it wasn't Air Balloon for like the first time this season.
It was Specs.
It was Specs. I think that question might have been answered later on, judging by the damage it did. But at this point, at the point in these notes, I didn't know.
For the quote unquote, because the Lux Rays did not have any ground mons or mons that get ground moves by Sin.
I mean, neither did the Don fans, and he still brought Air Balloon that week. So
yeah, but
I can't really sort of gauge Sin any week at any point with that Air Balloon. But
I'm gonna actually fact check you really quick. Was Mega Absol Miss Gen this week?
It was, yes. Check your mons. Check your mons. Well, I'm not sure if he was actually genuinely misgendered or if he just had a sort of slight brain lapse in the fact that he maybe brought a different hidden power to the one that he thought he did.
Okay. I was figuring that it was because of the hidden power, not because of like the actual moveset.
Because obviously, in the match, he was saying this should be hidden power poison. He even looked at it and said, "Oh, it says not very effective. Is this right?" And he still clicked it anyway because he wasn't 100% certain if that. I don't know. But it was, in fairness, it would say neutral if it was acting up as normal.
Yeah.
So I don't know why you still clicked it, because it said not very effective. So that should have definitely been the alarm bell saying something is wrong here. But like, I mean, he knew there was something wrong there, but he still clicked it anyway just in case. And obviously Absol died, which didn't help because that kind of helped take down MINvUK, would have helped take down Chandler, etc, etc, etc. So yeah, I think he had hidden power ground because obviously because it said not very effective against Tap and Bulu, so that kind of implies it's something that obviously it's something that it resists, and that would probably be ground in that case. So I'm wondering if he put hidden power ground on there either by mistake or deliberately and just forgot it was hidden power ground, not hidden power poison on this, because I did notice later on in the match that Latias had hidden power poison.
Okay.
So I wonder if he just got them the wrong way around in his head, or they gen them the wrong way around.
Yeah. Just as a warning for people who are going to watch this match after us talking, I'm guessing for either side, was your side live?
Yes.
Yeah, just make sure that during like around the middle of the game, you put it up to 1.5 speed, because there is in fact the War of the Water.
Yes, yes. I just have one brief point to mention before that. There's one thing that I put a note in for just before that whole sort of Arachnid versus Melodic thing happened. I kind of felt it was fairly obvious that Exception hasn't really watched any of Sin's matches, because Sin has either brought Scarf Hydreigon or Specs Hydreigon, and Scarf Hydreigon has been about 3/4 of the time, and Chandler has been Scarfed every single time he's brought it, I think. So, and Exception's reasoning was, well, Chandler was Scarfed, so I'm thinking that Hydreigon won't be in this case, and he risked it. Chandler being Scarfed does not mean that Hydreigon is not Scarfed in terms of Sin's team building, because basically you just remove Chandler being Scarfed from the entire equation and then start the rest of the team as 0 Scarfers when you're trying to work out what's Scarfed or not. Yeah. Because Chandler's always been Scarfed for Sin, so the rule, essentially the rule of 1 does not apply here, which you were relying on, and it didn't work out well. Yeah, and then obviously the Arachnid versus Melodic thing happened. For a little while he thought the recover was only 8 pp. Then he checked it on Latias, because Latias had recover, so he checked it and realised it was, oh god, it's 16 pp. This is going to take twice as long. And then I noticed that he obviously used all 16 liquidations. He got 2 defense drops.
Yep, I was also noticing that as well. Also, just really quick to mention before also my end we go into the Water War, was because of the fact that Sin, just make sure you're aware of abilities triggering and happening during the game, because he was very surprised at the fact that PZ's Shadow Ball killed Chandelure. He didn't realize he got the download boost.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so just be aware of the match all around, and also again, know your speed tiers. Arachnid is like base 30-something or 40-something speed.
I think it's 42 or 47, something like that. Yeah.
Magnezone will always outspeed that thing no matter what.
Well,
if you put some speed...
I think Arachnid can speed creeper. It's within range of speed creeper, but no, not if Magnezone has speed. Yeah. But I actually genuinely thought you were about to say that Sin wasn't aware that you couldn't burn Arachnid. But...
Also that, he was aware of that. He found that out mid-game as well.
Alright, cool. The only thing I was a little bit confused on that is why Exception was going for sort of... I understand why he wasn't clicking Liquidation every turn. I just wasn't sure why he didn't click Leech Life more often than he did, because obviously Leech Life was actually recovering more... Leech Life was actually recovering more HP than Scald was doing, or Ice Beam was doing, which was interesting. So that could have kept him as high as HP as he could whilst he was trying to stall those recover PP down.
Yeah, but I would understand why he was going for liquidation for those defense drops, so that the Leech Life does a lot more. I understand that 100%, and I agree with those plays, but it is a shame that you only got 2 out of the 16 defense drops.
It was remarkable he only got 2 out of 16 to drop. It might have been like 2 out of 14, and he might have used 1 or 2 beforehand. But yeah, it was still at least on average should have been 3. Just by pure law of averages, it should have been 3. Because I think it's 20%, so it should be 1 every 5, realistically. But as we know in the game of Pokemon, 20% usually equals about 40%, 30% equals about 100.
Basically.
So,
but, honestly,
one thing I did note though in that entire exchange of what must have been about 40 turns or something stupid like that. That basically. Neither side got a crit.
You are actually 100% right.
Like 60 attacking moves were used or something like that in that entire exchange, and neither side got a crit at any point. which was absurd. And frankly, a crit could have killed that melodic once or twice because Sin did let it get actually dangerously low a couple of times.
Yes, he did.
I put
honestly.
Oh yeah, at the very end, he was obviously worried. He wasn't sure if Darmanitan would outspeed Hydreigon would outspeed Darmanitan. Yes, Hydreigon was A, scarfed, and B, he would beat Sin. I think Sin does rely on fairly simple stat spreads, so I suspect it would have been max speed. So he would definitely outspeed Darmanitan in that respect. And I think I just said kill what is. I also said kill what is in front of you.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, yeah. I think I recall. I recall why you would say that.
Because he was predicting a couple of things happening in like maybe a couple of switches. Yeah, just kill what's in front of you because Sin doesn't tend to make the plays as those kind of plays as such. From what I've seen so far. So yeah, just kill what's in front of you, and then it might have ended up slightly different. I'm not sure if it would have ended up slightly different, but it could have done. And then I just put, oh yeah, at the end, but of course he expects.
Yep.
So yeah,
but yeah, honestly, after that little water debacle, everything for me was just straightforward in terms of Sin's part. He did really, really well at the end.
Yeah, he
personally.
He did what is necessary, and then sort of Exception over predicted a little bit. And I think Exception could have won it. I'm not 100% certain. I'd need to rewatch that ending just to double check on that. But I think Exception could have won that if he didn't over predict. One turn. I think it was just one turn. But if he didn't over predict, then he would have got it. But he did, but I understand why he did it. We've all been in similar situations where you try and calculate what your best chance is to win, and then the other player just stays in when maybe he probably shouldn't do, and you end up losing. So, Juan. I think I know what's happened there.
I'm here. I am here.
I think I know what just happened there. But yeah, we can move on.
Yeah, we can definitely move on, and we're going to go into right now the Colorado Rapidash versus the New York Clinks, coached by Swami and Papa C, respectively. The Rapidash brought the Excadrill, Kecleon, I'm so sorry, Rotom, Heat, Tyranitar, Mew, and Volcarona, while the Clinks brought Clawitzer, Blastoise, Blaziken, Alakazam, Gligar, and Zapdos. I gotta give it out to my boy C here, using a lot of the Clawitzer's pressure in the beginning of the game, taking that early KO on the Volcarona, which could have run havoc on this team, honestly.
That's quite ironic you said that because he's essentially sacked it off, saying that there's actually doesn't really do anything this match. So okay.
I mean, with the combination of Giga Drain, Bug Buzz, and the Fiery Dance, it could have done
Psychic. Not
he had
Giga Drain.
Psychic. Oh, then never mind.
Yeah, I think he had Quiver Dance, Bug Buzz, Fiery Dance, Psychic. So it didn't have the Giga Drain.
Let me just make one comment really quickly before you do your spree. I did notice on C's side that the Super Fang brought it immediately down to yellow, not just above the green. Whenever you're doing EVs on Pokemons, just try to make sure you're at least on an odd HP amount, so it doesn't risk it. That occurs with Stealth Rock damage. That occurs with anything that brings it under 50%. So you're more healthy than you appear to be.
Yes, of course. Yeah. It does sort of like when you see you're in green, you automatically add like 5% mentally for some reason in your head. It's a weird phenomenon. Yeah. In terms of that Volcarona thing, the commentary kind of on Swami's side was he wasn't predicting the Volcarona there, I don't think, to come in. So he wasn't clicking the one move to predict the Volcarona. It was the best middle ground play he could have done at that point, because Water Pulse, I think, might have KO'd Mew from where it was, and the switch in for what would have been a Dark Pulse would have been Tyranitar. So that would have been the best middle ground play, was just to click Water Pulse for the potential incoming Tyranitar and maybe KO Mew where it was. But I think, and we could also talk about that Super Fang situation as well. Here is Megazam was on 30 to 35%. After the first Super Fang, and then something happened, I think. Or basically ended up with 30-35%. You could have... Oh yeah, it was a sub and then the Super Fang, and then an attack happened, and then it got down to 30-35%. You could have subbed on the... You could have subbed when it was on 30-35%, because then Super Fang would have been only doing 5% because it would have been on about 10% health at most. So
Yeah.
Superfan wouldn't have broken the sub if you'd subbed at 35% health, and then you could have
Curious.
done some things.
And which point is this again? Just recap it for me again. Which point?
The Zam.
Oh, okay.
The Zam had substitute. If he subbed when Zam only had 30 to 35% health, then he would have been left with about 5 to 10%, and Superfang would not be breaking the sub at that point, because it wouldn't have enough health to break it. So just from the mechanics of Superfang, it would have just undone itself. But we do now have to give credit for some, like we talked last week about maybe that wishy-washy not actually really being that heat. We finally agree that there is indeed heat here, ironically, with an ice move.
Oh yeah, the Z Icy Wind?
Yeah, Icium Z, Icy Wind, Kecleon. Obviously Icium Z, Icy Wind by itself isn't heat, but putting it on a Kecleon, yes. Completely agree with that being heat there. For the Gligar, of course, 4 times super effective against that Gligar. But I'm not 100% certain that Kecleon doesn't get Ice Punch.
That was what C was actually more afraid of. He was going for the Ice Punch this time.
So,
but I guess Swami used it for the fact that it is utility and it brings down that speed, and just packing in the Icium Z just gives it an extra punch that it needs.
Yeah, I mean the only thing that confused me was obviously the rest of Kecleon's moveset was physical, and the second thing was when he was talking about the moveset before the match, he sort of said, and sort of as an addendum, that Icy Wind can get those speed drops just so it can help like Tyranitar outspeed, so it could help Tyranitar outspeed. So it didn't sound like it was deliberately there to help outspeed things, just more of an added benefit. So I'm not sure if he just completely overlooked Ice Punch or not. Might just need to comment down below. Like, I think Swami's good enough prepper to not overlook something like that, so I'm not entirely certain. But one question: was Papacy aware that Kecleon gets Shadow Sneak?
He was, but he was hoping.
Ah, right. Just because
he
it seemed a strange risk to leave it in when he did. Oh yeah, the only thing I would say is he kind of Swami went a little bit too quickly into Kecleon, to basically not to be telegraphing the fact that he had something for the Gligar.
Yeah, he went. Yeah, I think he pulled the trigger just a bit too quickly.
Yeah, he pulled the trigger a little bit too. He was like, "Oh, good, I got something for this," and then he switched out. He did switch out on the Z Icy move, didn't he?
He switched out into, I think, the Blast.
Yeah, so it was a little. That's why I wrote that down, because it was way too telegraphed that you were going to be clicking an ice move there. It's a bit sneaky, I know, but if you've got something like that, just wait a little while. Just wait a little while, and then sort of make it look like you're thinking about your options.
Yep, just be patient.
It just gives your opponent a little bit more hesitation. Like, oh, actually, does he have anything for this? I know it's maybe not the most legitimate of things to do, but it's Pokemon is as much a psychological battle as it is a technical battle.
Yep.
So if you can get in your opponent's head like that, then that could help. Because obviously the second you took like 2 seconds to go into Kecleon on Gligar, you're clicking a nice move. But I obviously still got to give credit to Swami for the rest of the match. He played it well, and he especially cleaned up that match very, very smartly.
Yes, he definitely held back his extra for the end. That it just worked out for him very well.
And I also did notice, I've written it down, but I did notice he sort of learned from last week's mistakes and making sure he goes into things that outspeed the opponent. For sure. Yeah. To kill them.
The only thing also I do want to mention though, C believes that it was a crit on his Gligar that caused him to loot. That was one of the main factors that if he had Gligar in the end, he could have potentially won. Did that crit on Gligar matter?
I don't remember there being a crit. If I'm honest, I haven't even written a crit down.
It was
I missed it.
Ice Beam on Tyranitar going against the Gligar.
Oh, I'm guessing it was Evilite, so I imagine it would do. It depends how much health it had.
It was, if I remember correctly, it was near full. So
I'm going to quickly calc it if you've got anything else to say, so I'll just quickly calc it.
No, I'm pretty good on this match. It's just that I didn't enjoy seeing Rock Polish T-Tar, and yeah.
Rock Polish fully special attacking as well, let's point out.
Yeah.
252 Modest, Ice Beam. I'm just going to do it right now. I didn't even notice it was a crit, to be honest. No. Was
Did not matter.
it depends if Gligar was physically or specially defensive.
Okay, and I do not know that information, so I cannot confirm or deny.
If it was physically defensive, it absolutely did not matter. If he was specially defensive, yeah, specially defensive Gligar with Eviolite does 100% minimum, and specially defensive does 75% minimum. So it depends if he was physically or specially. Basically.
All right, so I think we're good to move on. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Landers, coached by Jerry Oak, versus the Seattle Sea Kings, coached by our Overlord Jodor.
Overlordor?
An Overjodor. Okay. The Landers brought Moltres, Cobalion, Tapu Koko, Starmie, Yuxi, and Gliscor, while the Sea Kings brought Breloom, Metagross, Rotom Wash, Landorus Therian, Mega Sableye, and Typhlosion. First and foremost, I give it up for Jodor for hoping that his opponent will get freaked out for the fact that he would bring weird sets.
I mean, he tried that last week with John, and it didn't really work in the end. I mean, he did freak him out, but he still lost. So I'm not sure if this tactic is working, Joe, I'm afraid.
And it did not, honestly. As you see, that is a 3-0 victory in Jerry's favor.
Yeah, my main point was... I might have used slightly harsher language than I'm about to say here, but in my notes. But that Twinkle Tackle on the Mega Sableye was absolutely 100% wasted, because it did 75% and Sableye just immediately recovered. So completely wasted.
That was I think a very good thing. Even though he wanted to click a Metal Burst, I believe that recover worked for him so much more for the fact that it did burn, like you said, that Z move right from the beginning.
Yeah, so that was a completely wasted Twinkle Tackle, and more importantly, about 2/3 through the match, you ended up with a situation where Tapu Koko was in against Mega Sableye, which didn't have a Carmine up at that point. At which point, the Twinkle Tackle would have actually one-shot it if you still had it.
Yeah.
So that cautionary tale a little bit.
Actually, this just reflects back and forth on what happened with Swami. Just if you know you have something that would do the damage, just hold off on it. Wait for it. Right?
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit, yeah. And basically that Twinkle Tackle would have been so much more useful much later in the match when you could have just one-shot the Sableye without any Carmine boost. So essentially he was forced to go into Gliscor and set up on the Sableye, which obviously is a massive risk because Sableye does carry Will-O-Wisp most of the time. So that was a massive risk in itself. I don't think Jerry even mentioned the chance of Will-O-Wisp, which was odd. So, but thankfully I don't think it had it. So he got up the Swords Dance and scared the Sableye out, and then of course Rotom Wash comes in and the absolute vital Hydro Vortex happens.
That was beautiful.
That's how you use the Z move.
Huh?
I found that quite amusing. Like the Twinkle Tackle goes off completely wasted, and about 4 turns later, the completely vital Hydro Vortex happens.
Yep.
So
because if Jordan would have let that +4 Gliscor run rampant, things would be completely different.
I'm not sure what the spread on Rotom Wash is, so I'm not sure if just a regular Hydro Pump would have killed. But of course,
it's better to be safe than sorry.
Also has a chance to miss, of course, as well.
True.
Which is the important thing. So that made Hydro Vortex absolutely necessary at that point in the match. And it worked, and it killed the Gliscor, and the Gliscor probably would have swept at that point, maybe, except for Breloom.
Easily would have swept.
Except for maybe Breloom, which I think could have taken it, still. If he had Spore. I'm not sure if he had Spore.
He did have Spore, I believe.
Then he probably could have taken it with Breloom. But that being said, we can still move on to other things. Interesting hard switch. Oh yeah, there was an interesting hard switch from Landorus on Tapu Koko, considering that Landorus' Scarf had been knocked off at that point. Because there was no reason not to just U-turn at that point, because it would have been slower and then given you the initiative. Because I think that on that turn Tapu Koko went for U-turn itself, so the Tapu Koko got the initiative on that turn. When if Landorus had stayed in and U-turned, then the Landorus would have got the initiative. So that was the thing. Oh yeah, there was an interesting thing with Cobalion versus Metagross, and Jerry stayed in with Cobalion on Metagross and clicked close combat. I think I did less than 50%. I actually wrote down a prediction here. It didn't happen. I was Focus Blast.
I think it was Focus Blast.
Yeah, it was I knew it was a fighting move, but no, you had Iron Head, so I'm not sure if it was physical or not. But I was just thinking. I've not seen what happens this turn yet. I've actually paused it and wrote down a prediction. The prediction didn't happen, thankfully. But I was thinking, okay, COLvNYK's going to click fighting move here. It's not going to kill the Metagross at all, and Metagross is just going to click Earthquake.
Nope, he clicked on Headbutt.
He clicked on Headbutt, which is neutral and still did a lot of damage to COLvNYK. But he was very, very confused as to why Metagross stayed in, which was the point.
Oh, no, because Metagross is deceptively bulky. Very bulky. The Steel Psychic type is very, very good typing.
It's bulky, and fighting is neutral. There was no reason why you should switch out there. COLvNYK carries, as far as I'm aware, no actual super effective coverage for Metagross.
Oh, that's not good.
There might be a Brutal Swing in there or something from Gen 7, but I'm not sure. But that's about it. There might be something... I don't think it gets Dark type moves because of the whole Justify thing. They don't get Dark type moves for that reason. But... yeah. Yeah, and I only have one other note for this match, and it's for Jodor, I think. Don't set up on a Lake Trio Mon.
Oh, yeah.
Don't set up on any of the Lake Trio unless the Lake Trio Mon has revealed all of his set and it has nothing to screw you over with. Like this one did. So yeah, because Typhlosion got paralyzed, I think. So
that's definitely what I said that in the end of my notes. Like, do not get greedy, especially if you don't know what the full moveset is on a Mon.
Yeah, especially like don't set up, especially Psyche types, because they always carry those like Thunder Wave potential things and Toxics, especially like Uxie as well, being Uxie. They usually carry some form of status.
Yeah.
So that's all I have for that match, to be honest. Moltres cleaning up on the match was nice. It was nice to see Moltres doing things for once in its league life.
I'll let the Fire Chicken pass for this one. I'll let the Fire Chicken pass.
Yeah, I like Moltres. It's just pity these 4x Rita rocks and basically never really does anything in league format. As a result.
But I do want to say really quickly, I am confused as why he decided to go for Rock Tomb instead of just going for the KO on Starmie with Bullet Seed from the beginning. That was my only concern that Jodor did, that I don't understand why he just go for Bullet Seed.
Oh, I think he was predicting Moltres to come in.
Ah, okay, I think I skipped over that part.
I assume that's what it was. I never saw Jodor's side of the match, but that's what Jerry said. That's what Jerry assumed. He was just predicting Moltres.
Actually, that would make a lot of sense, but I was thinking on the terms of, he wants to get that speed drop before he goes for the kill to just show you outspeed. That was my mentality for that, but I just feel like if he, again, this is like more later in the game, you just want to pick up some kills and just get some momentum forward.
I'm not sure.
Just focus on.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Breloom had revealed its set or item yet, so he could have been Scarlet Breloom.
Yeah,
so
he didn't reveal it all. Yeah, so it was just, again, I'd rather say go for the damage instead of trying to play for the long game for this.
Yeah, indeed. Move on, maybe.
Yeah. Yep, I think that's good. I just want to also mention that T-Wave wins games, apparently.
Yes.
T-Wave, oh my god, you're going to see T-Wave this week. Is literally running rampant.
Oh yeah, speaking of T-Wave.
We're going to go into now the Rochester Rhydons, coached by Big Pump Gaming, versus the Iowa Haluchas, coached by Radioactive. The Rhydons brought Mega Blastoise, Emboar, Florges, Kyurem Black, Fortress, and Galvantula, while the Haluchas brought Golurk, Nihilego, Delphox, Keldeo, Registeel, and Thundurus Syntherian? This is Therian, right?
It's Incarnate.
Oh, this is the one that's Incarnate, okay.
Yeah, Thundurus Therian is on the Braveries.
Okay, got it. 4-0 victory for Big Pump Gaming, and yeah, let me just really quickly find those notes. And I have them somewhere. Yep, there we go. I think it was very, very good from Pump's. Oh yeah. Shoot, I watched Pump's side.
Did you watch Pump's side of this? Okay.
I did.
Well, we both watched Pump's side of this. One thing I made a note of the start is last week he brought Rain against another team that really benefited from Rain, which didn't actually have Rain itself. I felt like, and Pump made a note, Pump himself said this at the start of this match, Pump doesn't enjoy Ludicolo here, and he didn't bring the Rain or Ludicolo here, so unless of course that was the plan, just make him over prep for Ludicolo and never bring it. So obviously neither of us know because neither of us wanted Brady in the end. Thanks, Juan.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm okay.
And then I just have three words with bullet points in between. They are Hyper, Beam, and Keldeo.
Yes, I am going to watch Brady's side of this battle, and I want to see his reasoning behind this, if he wanted to bring it for memes, or he just had a legitimate strategy with this. But honestly, it kind of worked out in some points.
A little bit.
It did the damage.
Yeah.
It did the damage. Just want to commend really quickly again from Pum's side. Getting up sticky webs and rocks right in the beginning of the game was really smart.
Yep. One thing I really have to commend for Pum for this season is he knows well after maybe the first week when webs probably weren't like we had a lot of points about saying webs weren't as important as Pum thought first week. Since then, he has brought webs when he's needed webs, and he hasn't brought webs when he hasn't needed webs. Like perfectly, he hasn't wasted webs at any point. He hasn't brought them when he hasn't needed. He hasn't used them when he hasn't needed to, and he hasn't, not brought them when he hasn't needed them, etc., etc. So he's played very well with Garbanch for the past 7 weeks at the very least.
Yeah.
So major props there. I was going to say this was a fairly clean battle, apart from the one thing, which was of course. Para.
Oh, it was like 3 para in a row. Yeah, it was. Oh my god! And which mon again? It was
Mega Blastoise. I got a little bit of a flashback there, and a little bit sort of I sort of shuddered because I know your pain, Pum, with your water type being paralyzed 3 turns in a row. So
it's okay.
Happened literally 2 weeks ago to me. Literally 2 weeks ago for me.
It's okay.
Spinner as well, for that matter. But that's all I have notes for this match. I just put a little bit of a sort of a humorous thing at the end. Last week we spoke about how Specs is maybe secretly Wycran. I kind of feel like Pum is my spirit animal here because 90% accurate moves are our nemesis. He has Mega Blastoise and Gal, which I had last season, and he has Florges and Kyro and Black, which I have this season.
Okay.
So I kind of feel like Pum is my spirit battler right now.
It's okay. It's okay. You can believe whatever you want, Sheen.
We have exactly the same problems in our matches when it comes to hacks. Triple powers, 90% accurate moves. What is going on here?
I just want to commend though Brady for bringing sub-focus punch Registeel. It was a very clever. Yes. It never worked, but to be completely honest, when I saw the home claws, I immediately thought Zap Cannon. And I was really hoping he was going to throw Zap Cannon out. I really was hoping for that. But Sub-Focus Punch is cool too.
Oh, that would have been lovely.
Imagine that.
It didn't even cross my mind. That is beautiful. Thank you, Juan. This is why we have you.
But just imagine that chaos. Always getting parried.
Oh, man. Yeah, that would have just run right, especially if he managed to stay behind the sub. I mean, it would have done massive damage to that Blastoise. Paralyzed the Kyro.
Let's not hope for that Demon Child to ever happen to any sane person that will. I'm sorry if I put any thoughts in your mind, Brady. But yeah, I think this is
apologies to Brady's upcoming opponents if that actually happens.
Yes.
You know how to blame now.
So. No, you don't. No, you don't. But yeah, I think this is a very clean game, like you said, and really well forward victory by Pum.
Indeed.
And we're going to go now into the next match, which is the Maryland Torterrapin versus the Orlando Magikarp, coached by Under the Radar and Choice Specs, respectively. And as you see on your screen, there is a 0-3 forfeit victory given to Choice Specs.
Yeah, this one surprised me a little bit more, but I guess Kelly's just a bit busy because Kelly, I believe, is obviously in the playoff running. So
yeah,
it did surprise me that he did take the forward, but I think the issue is the fact he's already used his backup coach for this. I think it's a slightly strange role, only being able to do that once in a 12-week season. I think he just had to take the forfeit because obviously he's used his one backup coach for the season, so and his promotion at work is kind of kicking him in the rear end, as they say.
He's doing work. He's going to school, so we completely understand as being students and workers of our own. So just sometimes when things happen, things happen.
Yeah. By the way, I'm glad you took that segue because I forgot to even put that match in my notes.
You see, I'm covering for you, Chi. I'm covering. You're slick.
I'd have gone straight on to the next match, which is...
Yes, slacking, boy. All right, but we are now going to go straight on to the next match, and we honestly hope Kelly the best, and we can't wait to see what both coaches can do for the next week that's coming up. We are very interested in that. We are going to go right into now the Hampshire Haunters versus the Adelaide Umbreons, coached respectively by Goffy's Enigma and Crystal Key. Oh boy.
Oh yeah, 2-0 Durant Manaphy, Volcanion, Miancho, Miltank, Venusaur versus Alolan Golem, Hooper, Salazzle, Celesteela, Hitmonchan, and Lapras. And
never mind, I said something about covering for you, just cover for me. Okay, anyway.
Oh yeah, yeah. My first line of my notes was in capitals. I suspect one's might be as well. I put turn 1 explosion. I love this already.
I was very as Chris says in her commentary, she just nukes it.
Yep.
Literally nukes it to another dimension, straight to the Shadow Realm, into the Dark Abyss, whatever you want, whatever game you play.
Really glad that these are like all the teams have put it on a big document here, because I would have forgotten Miltank was even in this match.
That is actually very true, because it did literally nothing. It sat in, it switched in, saw a big white lion, and said, "Mama."
Or probably more Mooma, but yeah. I will leave now.
I hate you. But anyway, I would say Goffy's played this very well.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to talk about this. It was just a very quick, very offensive match.
Yeah, this was a very hyper-offensive match.
And I think the only thing I have is Lapras being 2-hit KO'd by a flamethrower.
Yeah,
Fire Blast I could probably understand a little bit more, but flamethrower, I feel like Lapras has the bug for that.
Give me 1 second, actually.
I am also calculating
abilities. Double checking abilities here. Oh, it does not get thick fat.
No, it doesn't get thick fat. No, it doesn't get that. But why is Lapras' standard set choice specs? Interesting.
That's actually hilarious. I'm going. I'm gonna do FSTvROC. I'm hoping you're gonna do SESvPHI.
Yes. Oh yeah. Offensive one doesn't. Was it an offensive Lapras? It must have been an offensive Lapras. We're doing all our research on the show right now. That's great.
Yeah,
good work,
that's
us.
Okay.
What's Spadef? I don't know what a plus Spadef nature is. Calm. That'll do us.
Yeah, that's calm. Volcanion.
Oh yeah, 252 252 for Spadef definitely doesn't kill. Definitely doesn't two-shot. It doesn't even need to be Spadef, I think.
If it's 252 252 defense with leftovers, Fire Blast was doing 41.7 to 49. Was he life orbed?
Oh, I have Specs Volcanion and it still doesn't do it.
Yeah, because I was having Choice Scarf. Yeah, Fire Blast is doing 54 to 64%.
Let me check. That Lapras had to be offensive or misgened.
Yeah, it astounds me that. Oh yeah, Flamethrower on a FSTvROC set, it's life orbed. It's a guaranteed 3-hit KO with only max HP.
Yeah, if he's not Specs, which I can't remember if he was. Just a normal calm nature with 252 HP prevents a 2-hit KO basically. It's 1% chance, but basically prevents a KO with Flamethrower.
Even a choice specs Volcanion that is timid.
I have to believe Lapras was bought especially defensively for Volcanion because it was the best thing she had for it.
Wait a minute. I'm seeing here's choice 252 modest nature's choice specs Volcanion Flamethrower. It is doing 55% minimum.
Oh, I put Timid Volcanion because it would have to be Timid Volcanion for the the battle.
No, of course, but I'm just saying for modest, if he was a modest nature, that was the only way that would do over 2-hit KO. Because even a timid choice specs one was at 50%. So
either we have a rerun of the Celesteela issue from 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago. I can't remember how long ago it was now.
Yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago.
Or it was deliberately offensive.
So bizarre.
Or it was deliberately
so
not bulky.
To see that Lapras go down that quick.
But I have to believe Lapras was bought for Volcanion because it was the only thing really that could take it on. So. Oh well, moving on.
Definitely would like to give commend to Cress for doing the prediction game very, very nicely when there was Ice Punch on, when we go back to the actual sheet, Ice Punch on Venusaur, and then she immediately went switch to Drain Punch on when it was switched to Mother Mon. That was really well played for her.
Yes. It would have been the Manaphy switching, I think, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah. Definitely did like the Sash Salazzle at the end, but it just was a shame that he did bring Scarf Durant.
Yes.
But yeah, honestly.
Oh yeah, without Scarf Durant, that could have been a very different game.
No, yeah, without that. But I would definitely say 100% this was a very offensive game, and both played what they could.
again, it's just a shock from both of us to see a Lapras go down that quickly. That we had a little to do calcs right now because we couldn't believe it.
Indeed.
But yeah, I don't have much to say about this. Just well done to Goffies, and yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
So going on, we're going to go into the Duke City, the Blades, coached by Volskyler, versus the Munchlax United versus King Bub. The Blades brought Mega Venusaur, Slowbro, Tauros, Turtonator, Skuntank, and Slurpuff, while the Munchlaxer United brought Mega Pinsir, Greninja, Heracross, Komala, Stunfisk, and Suicune. Hello?
You did not watch You obviously didn't watch Volskyler's side of these things, did you? You watched Bub's side.
No. I watched Bub.
Yeah,
why'd you go play it?
Yeah, you watched Bub's side of this. You didn't watch Volskyler's side of the last week's match either, did you?
I don't think I got up to him. No, I think that's what it was.
Did you notice something? No, I think I watched Volskyler last week as well. So it would have been on my side, not your side.
No, I watched Kelly's side of that. That's right. Okay.
Yeah. Did you notice anything interesting about the team that he brought this week compared to the team he brought last week?
Let me check, my good chief. It's the same one.
It's exactly the damn same team.
Did he prep?
He did. Then he had ginning issues, and then he decided he just would bring last week's team instead. Apparently he said he had trouble trying. Oh no! His computer all broke or something. I don't know. It was like computer issues or something.
Okay.
There's computer issues or something, and blah blah blah. But I have one thing to say: is you do realize other people can generate.
I mean,
you could just get someone to gen for you.
That is actually true.
But that being said, it kind of almost worked.
Almost is a very.
It was a 2-0. This team actually did better this week than it did last week.
That is true.
So, one thing I just have to say, Vols, he seemed to be very surprised about the mechanics of Belly Drum, despite the fact we mentioned it last week when he tried to use it and the citrus didn't work. He kind of said, I thought that Belly Drum was supposed to do half. Maybe it's changed for Gen 7. No, you just have odd health.
Yeah, but that was one thing I mentioned on my side, that if you want to get off the Belly Drum, you have to go even health and do the right HP. Even Bub was saying, he didn't go down to half HP. Did he not do the right amount?
Weirdly enough, it actually almost worked later on. When he belly drummed and forgot he had a citrus berry, and he got back to a decent amount of health again.
But that didn't work though.
No, it didn't work, but it almost would have. But he forgot about he had the citrus berry there, and it did ironically pop later on.
Curious. Bloom Doom.
Oh no, I actually put here. He didn't do it for the reason that I wrote down that it could have been done for, but he did it because he felt like Turtonator wasn't doing anything, and basically he felt like Turtonator was going to die next turn anyway, so he just wanted to use his Z-move. And it was going to kill the Suicune if he didn't, it would have killed the Suicune that was in front of him anyway, so it didn't really matter. But I did have one point to make. He could have rested on that turn with the Suicune, because it would have outsped.
Yes.
So the Bloom Doom wasn't entirely out of place there.
No, yeah, I was definitely supporting the idea, because Bub was he was said, I'm gonna sack this off, and I don't understand why you went for Bloom Doom. But I was looking in both scholars' perspective, yeah, you could have rested up, you could have gotten up to a good amount of HP, and he could have done a decent chunk to you.
Yeah, he could have rested there, but that wasn't why he did it. He just did it because he felt like Turtonator didn't do anything this match anyway. So he's
we're thinking like 3 turns ahead over here, us analysts over here, but yeah.
Funnily, I had a weird thing to say. Funny, because he actually forgot what Volskyler postcom this game. He actually forgot. I think he actually forgot what set he had on his Venusaur when postcomming, because I seem to remember last week he used Sunny Day against Mega Charizard X.
Yes, that is correct.
Funnily enough, that Sunny Day meme would have worked quite well here.
Oh my lord, would have it worked here?
It would have worked quite well here for Venusaur, because he obviously still had that Sunny Day growth Venusaur. But he didn't click Sunny Day here. He just clicked growth, I think, and didn't really do much.
Yeah.
Oh, he got very confused towards. Oh no. He got confused. I think Skylar had a very confusing thing of understanding how the post-column turns went in general, because there was a few turns where he felt like the same turn was a different turn.
Okay.
At the end, he was confused as to why Tauros outsped. I believe it's because you were Scarf Tauros. Is your own damn mon. So that is why you were faster.
Yep.
And
that is a reason why. And also, I do just
he was really confused because he felt like Tauros outsped the first one turn, and then Greninja outsped the next turn. No, it's you were Scarf Tauros, you are faster, and then Greninja just used his move. It was the same turn. It was not two different turns.
I do agree with the Heracross play. It was very dumb, Bub. What are you doing? What are you thinking?
Yes.
Silly Bub. Tricks for kids.
I remember there being a Heracross and there not being a Heracross.
Yeah, I think he switched it in on a Slowbro. He was predicting that he would go for a water move, but then he went for the side shot, which literally, again, sends it another dimension. But, yeah.
I don't think there's really any reason not to click a... I mean, obviously there's a Greninja, but the water move isn't doing much of the Greninja either, so... if he was going to predict the Greninja, he would just switch out.
Yeah. And Stunfisk did things.
Stunfisk is annoyingly hard to prep for. Volscar even said that himself.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah, honestly, that's it. And I think we're on our final battle.
We do have one last battle, but it is sort of a little bit of a weird one, so we'll continue.
Oh my lord, is this a weird one? We are talking about the Free State Torricats versus the New Orleans Pelipers, coached by Duncan Knee Deep and John, aka Pokemon, respectively. Torricats brought Garchomp, Kartana, Terrakion, Lantern, Xatu, and Alolan Muck, while the Pelipers brought Reuniclus, Noivern, Sandslash, Escavalier, Passimian, and Tapu Fini. And my feelings, man. My feelings for John.
Oh, John actually uploaded, did he?
Yes, he did. I was able to watch his side.
Oh, right. Duncan didn't, so I had no idea what happened in this match.
Oh, you don't know what happened in this match?
Not a clue. I think there was hacks from what Duncan said in the MPA chat.
Yes, there was a moment of hacks. So what exactly happened? John was doing so well in the beginning of the match. He was predicting the living hell out of Duncan. He had the momentum the whole game, and then there was one point in the match where I believe Duncan had Garchomp in and Sandslash, and John had Sandslash in. Duncan predicting the switch out for Sandslash went for Substitute, and John just thinking too quickly, he went for Toxic.
Oh.
And then on the following turn, when I believe that Garchomp, that when Sandslash responded with the Earthquake, then following turn, Garchomp went for Sword Stance.
I see.
And then from there, he Duncan subbed up to the point where the Salac Berry popped.
I see.
I'm telling you, up to that point in the match, it was 6-3 John.
I'm seeing even further now.
And from when that moment happened, it literally reverse sweeped. Garchomp picked up, as you can see, 4 kills off after that turn because it was to the point where John had to continuously switch out, trying to get his Reuniclus into favorable position with his Regenerator. He was trying his best, but then on a turn when he was going to go for the finishing move, when he was certain that he was going to live an Earthquake from Garchomp, and that happened, he was going to go for a second to take out the Garchomp. He parried, which costed him the game because what he had left was, I believe at that point, Escavalier and Passimian. And with Passimian with Scarf, if he still was able to have Reuniclus and Passimian, that combination would have definitely helped taking care of Terrakion and Kartana, which were the last 2 mons on Duncan's side. And for the fact that he got parried on that turn where Reuniclus was supposed to live and take out the Garchomp, that cemented John's defeat, for the fact that he wasn't able to take out that Garchomp to do more damage to get that momentum forward with other mons and get that favorite position to switch into Passimian and get Regenerator back onto Reuniclus.
So what did kill Garchomp then? Because it is listed as dead on the sheet.
I believe what killed Garchomp was indeed still the Reuniclus, but he had to sack off one more Mon in order to do that.
All right. Okay.
With the regenerator.
I see.
To be frank, on the second time that it was Reuniclus beat Garchomp, Reuniclus lived on literal 1.
Oh, nice.
HP. So it was completely John's game up to the point where he clicked Toxic on a sub, as a Garchomp for sub.
That is unfortunate.
That is very unfortunate, and I really do feel bad because it was the fact that he could have came back from this game if he did not get that para when he got it. If he wouldn't have gotten that para, he would have killed the Garchomp. Duncan would have switched in either Terrakion or Kartana, and from there he could have at least worked out how to deal with it. Even though Kartana was sashed with a combination of Escavalier, which I believe that was one of the mons he had left last. And Escavalier did have HP Fire. With a combination of Reuniclus, Passimian, and Escavalier, he could have taken back the game at least 2-0 minimum. Maximum,
right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
So
I kind of see.
That was my side of the commentary. I do not have anything wrong to say about John's playing because he played phenomenally. And like he said as well, Duncan played phenomenally. It's just Pokemon.
I do have, obviously, I do have one thing to say, but that, the sub-Salak thing, is one of the rare instances where you do make sure you have even number.
Yeah.
Because you want to go 25, 25, 25, get exactly on 25, so you can pop the Salak Berry. That's one of those rare cases where you do want an even number HP. Just to add on to our earlier conversation.
Actually, what happened was the fact that he did have an odd number HP, and he was able to go down to the literal minimum.
Oh, he went to 1%.
Yeah, he went to literal like 1 or 2 HP.
Ah, well, it would have been 1, wouldn't it? But yeah.
So that's what I was saying. Like Garchomp was at that point so low when the Salak Berry popped, he just needed to get off a hit with Reuniclus.
Oh, neat.
Just one hit.
Oh, I was thinking it was on 25% there, but okay, no, it makes even more sense.
But yeah, that's my spiel with that battle. Again, not much to say in terms of anything wrong. They both played phenomenally. It is just that Duncan prayed to Will a little bit harder.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the only like the hacks was the power, wasn't it? Not the toxic sub situation. But
no. That was just a genuine mistake from John. But the hacks was that para.
Yeah, one poor prediction cost him the match, basically. But basically. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that is what I gotta say. This is the end of week 8. We are getting into week 9, 10, 11, 12. 10, 11, 12. There's 4 more weeks left, guys.
4 more weeks for everyone. And just a shout out to the mons of the week. Obviously we have Vikavolt and Garchomp got 4.
Garchomp got 4. I'm gonna double check as well.
It, I think, in terms of 4 or more.
4 more. Yes, that is it. Indeed.
Yeah, everything else was quite nicely spread out. So yeah, Vikavolt obviously doing all of the things, and Garchomp doing most of the things.
Yep.
So yeah.
If you guys did enjoy this video, please do leave a like and a comment down below saying your opinions of this week's matches. Coaches, as always, if you want to leave any feedback for us or just explain your thoughts, please do so in the comment section down below. And again, if you have not checked out the NPA playlist for this week, do so in the description. And we are your analysts. I am Juan, he is Chi, and we will catch you guys in the next week, week 9.
Indeed, ta-ra.
All right. Have a good one, guys.